I'm Melissa Chartrand. I'm here at the Cape Cod Maritime Museum, joined by Executive Director Chris Galazzi. Chris, last time I was here, we were in the boat shed.
Yes, we were. Yeah. Now we've come upstairs.
We've come upstairs. Yeah. I was promised a ride on the Sarah.
I know. I'm hoping still that we can delay until next summer, because
I don't want to go
winter,
on now. Yeah.
the winter sales on Sarah are not as much fun as the July sales.
I bet they are. It would show my hardiness.
Yes, but, indeed. And sailors were out there fishing off boats just like Sarah, not more than 30 or 40 years ago. So we absolutely we would be continuing the history.
There you go.
Of Cape Cod if we did it. But let's continue the summertime history of Cape Cod. Yeah.
Fair enough. So we'll be back again. This is going to be the year that I get out on the Sarah.
Fantastic.
We can do a story. But I'm excited to talk about Cape Cod's largest Scrimshaw exhibit.
That's right.
Right here at the Cape Cod Maritime.
That's right. And I do have to put an asterisk on that it's Cape Cod, but not the islands, because the Nantucket Museum has a fantastic collection, as does New Bedford. But here in Cape Cod, we have a wonderful collection here that was donated to the museum by Melora H. North and her family. Melora had a sister who collected all of the Scrimshaw with her husband, and they gave each of these pieces to one another over their lifetime together. So each piece has a very special story and is part of their life together and the love that they shared with one another.
And were they from the Cape?
They weren't from the Cape. They were from Connecticut. Melora, her sister, came out to the Cape and settled here and has a daughter here on the Cape. So part of the family is here, and when the original couple passed away, they left the collection to Melora and her family have donated it to our museum.
How wonderful. Now, were you able to hear many of the stories associated with the pieces?
We were, and so if your viewers come down here to the museum, we'd be happy to give them in-depth stories about the different pieces. Alan Granby, who's a local specialist in many different items of maritime antiquities, has a specific focus in Scrimshaw, and he has looked at each piece and told us from an appraiser's perspective some of the unique information about each piece, and then we have the family's history of their collection. So it's a very interesting way to hear personal stories about pieces that have a real place in history.
Absolutely. What is one that sticks out to you, if there's any one over another? I'm
sure
there's many, but let's hear one of them.
Well, there are just such a wide variety. I have as I get older, I eye the cane that we have here, made out of narwhal tusk. So technically not a piece of Scrimshaw, but a lovely part of the collection. There are some carved pieces. It has the British emblem scrolled, cut into the Scrimshaw, and it's just an exquisite piece of Scrimshaw work, and we really are so happy to have it here in the museum.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about the case, because this wasn't here before.
No, that's right. Before, this was just an alcove where we hid coats. One of our local master boat builders, a gentleman named Bruce Colvin, who's a volunteer with the museum, created this case using traditional boat building technique, and so it's a very unique teak and mahogany case, and it's lovely, and we're just so pleased to have it here at the museum.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that and Bruce and volunteering and the boat works, because there's a lot more, and there's so much for our viewers to see when they come here.
Well, the interesting news here at the museum is that we have begun a STEM Gain STEAM program, which involves local children and students building boats at the museum and also taking nautical classes like navigation and clean water. And so it's an exciting time at the museum for these students. And one of the challenges we found is kids are busy, parents are busy, school teachers are busy, and they have challenges of coming to the museum. So we've turned that around, and now we're going out to local Barnstable elementary, middle school, and high school classrooms and bringing our STEM curriculum to them.
How spectacular.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. And maybe we can, a little later, or we'll have you back to take a look at some of the things we're doing. But downstairs today, we have the entire 6th grade middle school class from Truro in our boat shop. They're spending the whole school day here working, building a boat. And we do that with them every Thursday. And we're looking for a new class because Rockland Trust just gave us a small grant to purchase the materials for a new boat building class. So we're looking for a class. If you know of one or anyone does,
we can let our viewers know that they can contact you. And I think what's so wonderful about that is celebrating the maritime history. So all the kids on the Cape should know that and get to experience it. But all the skills, as you say, that STEM to STEAM that are involved in this program.
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
And that's a question that we ask ourselves. How do we remain relevant to our community in the 21st century where so much is about opposable thumbs and electronic gear? And we find that teaching students, and it's not just kids, we do this with adults as well, teaching them the skills that connect us to the history of Cape Cod and the people who were building boats here 100 years ago, 200 years ago, is so unique, and it's such a special way to be part of the culture that defines us as more than just another sandbar on the New England coastline. It's just a wonderful, wonderful experience for many people.
It really is, Chris. Thanks so much for sharing today. And again, to our viewers, let's let them know how they can find out about this program and the wonderful exhibits.
Well, absolutely. Please
so many ways.
Go to your internet connection device and punch in Cape Cod Maritime Museum.org. You can go on Facebook and find us and friend us there. And of course, you can always come to 135 South Main Street here on the Inner Harbor on your way to Cape Cod Hospital and drop in and say hello and come meet some of the fun folks that are preserving Cape Cod's maritime traditions. We'd love to have you.
Yes, absolutely. And it's, as you said, not just for kids, adults, residents and visitors alike.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. For Chris Galazzi, I'm Melissa Chartrand, wishing you an artful day.